So, how do you like the video? And in fact, through the TripAdvisor's survey, about 81% people they say that according to the response of a brand or a country, how they do will actually impact them how they choose where to go and what to buy. So during this moment, to create a positive image to the world is very important, and I believe people, our government and Taiwanese people did that quite well. But in fact, before that, you might often see on the news about Taiwan is about our legislators. Like the next uh, picture. From the picture, you will see that not all these people, they are our legislators. You can see there are people trained and they try to push each other. And in the past, it happens when they are having different voice in between their parties, and they usually through the more physical way to attract the video camera, so their face will be shown on the news. And this time again, they after the video was out, they still tried very hard to attract local people and tell people that we are also using our way to promote Taiwan. And next is publish your attractions online. Uh, just like the first, people will trust the brand that willing to help during the coronavirus. And also, when they are doing, people are also willing to believe that we'll spend more time to do research and before for their next destination. So this is our and also lots of people will force stay at home longer time than they used to. So through videos like YouTube will be a very good tool to promote your attractions or your product. And the person to the left, this young handsome guy, who is called Brian, he's a very famous YouTuber. Now their channel already have over 1.2 million people. The person next to him is our Minister of Transportation and Communications. And as I mentioned, start from May, we are already at the fourth stage, which is the domestic, and people are now traveling on the island from the north to the south. And but to avoid people all heading to the popular spot, the hotspot, the government try to promote some other attractions, which is also very fun but less crowded. And they decided to cooperate a very popular YouTuber to make very interesting videos to attract people. They went to a place in Yilan, which is the northeast of Taiwan, over there with very beautiful mountains and rivers. Just like I mentioned earlier, that when people start to travel again, even just domestic, they will prefer to go to outdoor, to go to national park instead of cities or place with many people. And through the half-day trip and through the video, they successful introduce this place to the people, and it also help for people when they are planning where to go. And the third is be more creative, because now in Taiwan, a lot of travel agencies facing the problem that originally they do more outbound. They only do outbound tours, but now because the border was closed, is closed, so they have to switch to inbound. And during that time, to be creative is very important. Not you need to use your creativity to design your tours and also your itinerary. And from this picture, you will see this is from an airline company called Starlux. And Starlux is a brand new airline company in Taiwan. They started back in 2018, and in this year, in January 23rd, they operated their first international flights from Taiwan to Macau. And a coincidence is the date is on January 23rd, which is the city in Wuhan was locked down. So on the same day, they operate their first flight, but on the same day, the city in China was forced to lock down. So of course, after January, start from February, all their flights overseas were forced to close, but they didn't give up. In fact, they saved energy from February to July. They didn't give up. They tried to find a new solution during this critical moment. And recently in Taiwan, it's very popular what we call 伪出国. It means you pretend you are traveling abroad, but you are not, because you actually onboard the actual flight and you actually take off, but you just go around Taiwan and then coming back. But during that 1.5 hour, you get to see the beautiful island from the air. And they successfully started the train. And the most interesting thing is the pilot is the founder himself. And on the August 8th, during the flight they even draw an 8 on the route, and which is a big surprise for the passengers and everyone. They all love it, and later on all their flights was fully booked in 3 minutes. So creativity is very, very important during this moment. And the next is attractions where consumers can practice social distancing, like outdoor activities. And from this picture, you might be wondering what is this? And this is actually an officer from 1,000 years ago. And Chinese people, they invent a lot of new things. And actually, in about 1,000 years ago, they already have the idea of keeping a social distance through this officer's cap. And each side of the cap has about 50 meters. So together it's 1 meter. And in China, after the kids are starting heading back to the school, lots of kids wearing this hat, which was designed from 1,000 years ago to keep a social distancing. But in fact, back in 1,000 years, they wear this hat not just to keep the social distance. It's actually because in the past, during the conference or meetings between the emperor and his officers, one time he noticed that his officers are talking to each other, and for him he feel like insulted. Like he believed that they are talking something bad about him. So he decided he come up with this idea. He forced all the officers to wear this hat, so they don't have a chance to talk bad things behind him. But that's just an interesting fact. And to practice social distancing, I will recommend, for take an example, in Taiwan, I'll recommend a place called Taidong, which is located in the southeast. earlier, the place where you can see the river is Yilan, which is in the northeast. And if you remember the video I introduced to you about Taiwan, in the central of Taiwan, there's a central mountain range. And because of this mountain range that blocked the east and to the west. So most people live on the west coast, and the east coast only about 2 million people live on the east coast. And Taidong is the third largest county in Taiwan, but with the lowest population density. So this will be during this moment, it will be a perfect destinations for people to visit. And also, I believe in your home country, in the past, we have less visitors because of long distance. But now, I think we can use this as a chance to promote our attractions and what's the specialty of your home country. And I believe after the borders was opened in Asia, people will be more willing to visit to a place where they can feel more relaxed and safe, and also less crowded. And the next video is about this beautiful part of Taiwan, Taidong.
Located in the southeastern part of Taiwan, Taidong has the largest coastline among all of Taiwan's administrative districts, reaching as long as 176 kilometers. With 7 indigenous peoples comprising 1/3 of Taidong's population, which is the highest ratio in Taiwan, Taidong boasts of its racial and cultural diversity.
Taidong est vraiment l'une des plus belles régions de Taïwan.
Muy bonito, muy hermoso, de verdad vale mucho la pena venir.
Salutări din Taidong, Taiwan, un loc minunat cu oameni deosebiți. Vă aștept să-l vizitați!
Ai Taidong!
Para venir a surfear en Taiwán, especialmente si quieres darte una escapadita de la ciudad. Satisfecho.
Taidong is a really beautiful place.
Taidong is an amazing place to be.
Ocean and the mountains. It's a beautiful place.
타이동은 すごく綺麗.
Taidong is so beautiful and food is amazing.
La nourriture est excellente et les spots de plongée sont magnifiques.
깨묻지 않은 거친 자연, 그리고 낭만과 여유를 느낄 수 있는 타이동으로 놀러 오세요.
Furthermore, wherever you are in Taidong, from green rice paddies to magnificent mountains, blue ocean to beautiful islands, you are always breathing the freshest air of this island nation. Enjoy the relaxing, slow-paced life. Welcome to the City of Happiness, Taidong.
And in Taidong, another highlight is our indigenous people, which is also the same as your countries, the Austronesian people. And Austronesian people, they have very special and interesting culture. And so in the last 10 years, this village travel become very, very popular. From the picture, you can see this is the harvest festival, and it's for our indigenous people, it is like their new year. They usually celebrate after they celebrate this for the year harvest, and through this festival they also thank to their ancestors blessing, and they also use this chance to rank their people in a tribe. Like different age of people will take different rankings. And for the last few years, they also welcome people from other cities to join them to know about their culture and to be able to understand and to experience it, because our indigenous people, they were here at least thousands years ago. But 400 years ago, when the Dutch arrived, since 400 years ago, after Dutch arrived, their land was taken slowly and slowly by all the outsider. That's why today you mainly see them, you mainly see them on the east coast, and the west part of Taiwan they're all occupied by the Han Chinese, by the Chinese immigrations. But in the last 20 years, through 20 to 30 years, through lots of people's hard working, their rights start to be focused. And also now, when the government are trying to promote Taiwan, they will use their culture as an attraction. And in between all the different tribes, I would like to introduce you to a place called Dunshan Forest Museum. And that's also a tribe from Taidong. And it's very interesting because when this is not like the first picture, you just dance with them. In this, they call it Forest Museum because they consider the whole mountain, the habitat of the tribe is a big museum. So when you entered to the mountain, you are like entering to their home. So you have to respect their culture. So on the first, when we arrived, before we arrived, we were warned to bring two things. First is the betel nut, and another one is the rice wine. And these two things are the most important thing for you if you want to make friends in the tribe. And they use this. They put it in the front of the table. Behind, you can see the skulls of the wild pigs and some goats. And we first put the wine and betel nuts on the table, and then we start to pray to the ancestors, so to ask for their blessing. So later, when we are visiting the mountains, everything will become very smooth. And attraction in this museum is there's no easy walking path, like paved path. You have to walk through mud. You have to climb through trees. You move just like the people people there. And another attraction in this museum is called a walking tree, because in the mountains there are lots of banyan trees, and of course we know trees cannot walk, but because these banyan trees, they grow so fast, they spread out so quickly, like a few years later you will find the tree feels like the trees are moving. And during that tour, you climb through these trees, so you move together with the tree. And we also experience how they dine there, how they eat. And in the past, of course, our indigenous people, they eat everything. They eat monkeys, they eat wild pig, they eat goat, or the flying squirrel, anything they can catch. But now, not anymore. Now we mainly eat pork and sometimes some goat. But in these activities, they welcome people to barbecue by themselves, and also to experience to eat food through the stick, which is quite different than normally we eat through chopsticks. And after the dining part, before we leave, they also welcome every group. Before we leave, we have to plant a tree in the forest. So that also represents an idea of the sustainable travel. So when we entered, we leave nothing but a seed. So in the future, when other people come to visit, you will see more green. Okay, now I know you'll enjoy the video very much, but stay tuned. I will be back.